Picture this. A woman rides straight into a battlefield, not with a weapon, but with bandages and a bottle of brandy. Cannon smoke all around her, wounded men at her feet, and she's not even supposed to be there. Her name was Mary Seacole, and this is how a black Jamaican nurse looked the British Empire dead in the eye and said, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Let's get into it. Kingston, Jamaica, 1805. Mary Jane Grant is born into a world already divided by race, class, and empire. Her father? A Scottish army officer. Her mother? A free Creole woman who ran a boarding house and treated the sick with traditional medicine. When I say traditional medicine, I mean the science of survival. Camphor for fever, nutmeg for pain, lime juice and clean water for everything else. A blend of African roots, European practice, and Caribbean wisdom. Remedies born from generations who had to make healing an art form. Mary learned it all at her mother's side, but British doctors, fresh from London universities, called it primitive. Some even labeled it witchcraft. Imagine spending your life saving people, only to be told your knowledge doesn't count because of your skin or where you learned it. From her mother, Mary learned healing. From her father, she inherited something equally valuable: audacity. By the early 1850s, cholera is ripping through Jamaica. While British doctors are prescribing bleeding and purging, techniques that kill more people than they cure, Mary is boiling water, disinfecting bedding, and rehydrating patients. And it works. Hundreds survive because of her. No degree, no license, just competence and compassion. She later travels to Panama to nurse cholera victims there, nearly dies of the disease herself, recovers, and keeps going. Because that's what Mary Seacole did. She kept going. And she learned something that would guide her forever. Skill matters more than permission. Year 1853. Britain, France, and the Ottoman Empire are fighting Russia in Crimea. More soldiers are dying from disease than from bullets. Mary hears the news and thinks, "I can help." She sails to London, carrying her savings and glowing references from British officers she'd treated in the Caribbean. She applies to the War Office, to the medical department, to Florence Nightingale's newly formed nursing corps, every official channel she can find. And she's turned down. Over and over. Some letters never answered. One rejection, she wrote, was so cold it made her weep. They weren't questioning her skill. They were questioning her color. A mixed-race woman from the colonies didn't fit their idea of who should nurse British gentlemen. So what does Mary Seacole do? Does she give up? Hell no. If she can't join their hospitals, she'll build her own. In 1855, she sails to the Black Sea with her business partner, Thomas Day, and every penny she has left. They set up shop near Balaclava, right next to the war. She calls it the British Hotel, part storehouse, part mess hall, part clinic. By day, she feeds soldiers and sells supplies to keep the doors open. By night, she rides out toward the front lines with baskets of medicine tied to her saddle. While others run from the guns, Mary Seacole walks straight into the smoke. She cleans wounds, binds limbs, and whispers the words that men later said were stronger than morphine. Courage, my dear. The soldiers adore her. They call her Mother Seacole and write home about this woman who could find laughter in hell itself. During the siege of Sevastopol, the bloodiest chapter of the war, Mary works within range of the cannons. She carries lint, bandages, and bottles of brandy. One officer later said she was as brave as any man in the field and twice as kind. Her blue dress becomes permanently stained with blood and dust, but she wears it like armor. And her remedies? Straight from Jamaica. Ginger for the stomach, aloe for burns, vinegar for infection, years before germ theory would prove her right. Medicine born from observation, not institution. British doctors still called her unqualified. But when cholera hit the camps again, her tents filled, and men walked out alive. 1856, the war ends. Mary Seacole returns to London almost broke. She'd spent her fortune treating soldiers who couldn't pay. But when word spreads that Mother Seacole is struggling, something remarkable happens. The men she saved organize fundraisers. Crowds fill concert halls. Even Queen Victoria's nephew shows up. When Mary walks into the hall, the entire audience rises to applaud. In her memoir, she wrote, "I have a few good friends, and I am rich in the sense that I have been useful." That line says everything. Mary Seacole dies in 1881, and then silence. Victorian Britain moves on. Florence Nightingale's story becomes legend. Mary's fades into footnotes. It takes more than a century to bring her back. In 1991, Jamaica awards her the Order of Merit. In 2004, the British public votes her the greatest Black Briton. And in 2016, a statue of Mary Seacole is unveiled outside St. Thomas's Hospital in London, gazing toward the river she once crossed alone. Mary Seacole defied an empire not with a sword, but with mercy. She proved that knowledge born in a colonized land was still knowledge, that compassion doesn't need permission. She crossed oceans, built her own hospital in a war zone, and healed a broken army with nothing but courage and conviction. She was never called a hero in her lifetime, but she didn't need the word. Her work spoke louder than medals, louder than empire, louder than silence. Mary Seacole, the nurse who turned mercy into rebellion and made compassion glorious.